Chapter 3, Short Stories for Short People. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Penny Coons. Short Stories for Short People by Alicia Stuart Aspinwall. Chapter 3, The Toad. One day, Reginald's mama asked him if he wouldn't like to get some mushrooms. He said he would, and taking his pail in his hand, off he went, first to a place where he thought he had seen some growing, but they proved to be toadstools, which, although pretty, are very dangerous to eat. Reginald knew this, so he did not touch them, but went on further. Soon he found a beautiful mushroom, and was about to pick it, when a voice quite near said, "Boy, how do you do?" Reginald turned, but seeing no one, thought he must have been mistaken, and again stooped to pick the mushroom, when he saw, sitting beside it, an enormous toad. Just then he had heard the same voice, and this time louder. "I say, boy, how do you do?" And if you can believe me, the voice was the toad's voice, and it was he who had spoken. Reginald, who had never heard a toad speak before, and in fact didn't know they could, was so much astonished that he fairly gasped. "That mushroom," continued the toad calmly, "is mine, and you cannot have it. Go and pick those toadstools." "But," Reginald said, who had somewhat recovered from his astonishment, "I don't want any toadstools." "Well then," said the toad, "of course that's not my fault, now is it?" "No," said Reginald, somewhat timidly. "Then the best thing for you to do, boy, is to go home." "But I came to pick mushrooms for my mamma, and I certainly shall not go home because a toad tells me to do so. I'm not ready to go." "Oh," said the toad, "I beg your pardon. I thought perhaps you were ready. If you're not, then why don't you stay here? And if you stay, perhaps you would like to go fishing with me. It would really give me much pleasure to show you how I catch fish." Reginald, who was very, very fond of fishing, could not resist this, and said, "Yes, thank you. I should like that very much." Then the toad stood on his hind legs, slipped his cold, slimy hand in the boy's, and on they walked toward the brook. "You are really the most remarkable toad I ever saw," said Reginald. "What's your name?" "Wait," was the answer, "and perhaps you may guess it before our walk is over." As soon as they reached the brook, the toad seated himself on the very edge in the mud. "Sit down beside me," said he to Reginald, who did not at all like to do this, for he didn't want to get wet. But he had often been told by his father that whenever he went fishing with anyone, he must do just as he was told to do. So when the toad said again, "Sit down here," this time more sternly, why, Reginald sat down. "Now," said the toad, "I think I may truly say that you will be surprised." So they waited, and waited, and waited, and no fish came. At last Reginald lost all patience, and said, "I will wait no longer. I have not seen a single fish." "Then," said the toad, "if they don't come, I can't catch them, can I? But there's one thing that I can do, and I do it well, too, and that is catch butterflies. Would you like to see me do it?" "Toads can't catch butterflies," said Reginald contemptuously. "I asked you again, rude boy, will you come and see me catch butterflies? I should like that very much." "Then come, and you will look up in the sky all the time, and when you see a butterfly, tell me," directed the toad. So on they went, the toad holding Reginald's hand, and Reginald looking up in the sky. But although they walked for more than an hour, and the poor boy's neck ached crucially, not one butterfly did they see. At last Reginald, as before, lost patience, and sitting down, said angrily, "I shall go no further. I have not seen any butterflies at all." "Well," said the toad, "then of course you don't blame me for not catching them. You seem tired, and you are hungry too, I'm sure. Are you fond of wild honey?" "I never tasted any." "You don't say so," said the toad. "Then come." And Reginald, much delighted, followed him. They walked on and on and on till the poor boy was ready to drop with fatigue. At last they had returned to the very spot where they had first started from. And now, what do you suppose that horrid, disagreeable toad did? He walked to the mushroom, and sitting down upon it, said, "Well, boy, have you had a pleasant walk?" Reginald was, of course, very angry. "I think you're a horrid, wicked toad," said he, "a perfect fraud." "Aha!" said the toad. "I thought perhaps you would guess my name, and you have done so. My name is Fraud, and, little boy, there are no fish in the brook, and there are never any butterflies in the woods, nor is there any wild honey, for there are no bees. Also, there is but one mushroom here, and I am sitting on that. There is, as you see, not much room for you. So, as I remarked to you about 3 hours ago, go home." Those were the toad's last words, and poor Reginald, grieved and angry, did go home with an aching neck and an empty pail, and told his dear mamma all about it. End of chapter 3. Recorded by Penny Coons, pennycoons.com, in Seattle, Washington, on 12 April 2015.